us on the mic, talking life and what's alike. Middle age, it's quite the ride, finding joy and chasing pride. Career dreams and daily grind, funny moments that we find. Letting go of yesterday, making paths along the way. Middle age.
Hey Tim, what's going on, buddy? How we doing?
It's been a little bit, but we're back.
Awesome. Yes, everyone, welcome back to the Tim and Trav podcast. It's been so long since I've even said it that we're out of practice here. The Tim and Trav podcast. We are now on season 3. For those keeping track and have hung this long, thank you for having us in your ears. Tim, season 3. Let's talk about it real quick. Let's get right into it. This one is a little bit different. I know that we had kind of teased it at the end of season 2, and that has we've had some offline conversations here and there in which Tim probably wanted to drive from Jersey to Ohio and kill me. But I think we finally got to a really good spot. And Tim, why don't you kind of give us a rundown of what we're looking for in season 3?
Well, I would love to, Trav, and I'm afraid that I had a very funny line prepared to share, but since you kind of you stepped in there, I'm not going to be able to do it now.
Oh, come on, do it anyway.
No, it's just something along the lines like that you and I haven't talked since the end of season 2 or something like that. It wasn't really that funny. But hey, man, it's good to be back.
Live.
That's what we do. It's good to be back. And yeah, this has been a great experiment as we kind of continue to move on here and figure it out as we go. And it's always fun to see what works and what doesn't. And I think at the end of the day, what I'm most looking forward to with this new round of guests is really just to focus in on their awesomeness. I mean, I think one of the things that's unique about our show, this is me doing absolutely no research, but I'm assuming at least, so just, allow me that grace momentarily, that there's not a lot of shows out there that really just feature the everyday, the awesome in the everyday, right? So the people that we're bringing on are the people that you would meet in your community that are doing normal things, but taking it just to a different new level. Mm-hmm. And I'm really excited about, continuing to highlight and hear their passion, and maybe it'll inspire someone to do something they've been thinking about or connect in some way. And at the end of the day, for you and I think it's just nothing more than a joy to meet these people and learn something new and keep, helping to kind of just have their stories cemented in time. I've used that phrase a couple times, but it's really special to be able to help capture these times with them. So
yeah, for sure.
And nice to be here with you, man. I'm glad you didn't kick me out yet, and you kept my name in the logo, which I'm grateful for.
Hey, we're still rolling, man. I'm thankful for it as well. That was a great summary of what we're after. So, should we get right into it? You got an awesome life moment?
Yeah, I do. I obviously, I think this is probably one of my favorite parts of the show, to be honest with you. It's just it's so fun to kind of just think about these things. But I'm going to say real quickly, I've said it, kind of alluded to this in the past, but I married an incredibly brilliant human being. Her level of intelligence is just so sharp, and and this kind of permeates all aspects of our lives, right? In terms of how we live and all the management that goes into raising kids and things of that nature. But most recently, when it comes to homework, because we're busy in the midst of school season now and busy with all of that, I mean, I have realized that most of the homework that my 9th grader and 7th grader bring home, I'm incapable of doing. Mm-hmm. I'm not really too embarrassed to say that. My 7th grader showed me a math problem the other day. I had absolutely no idea how to solve it.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
And Christy gets home from work, gone for 10, 11 hours, puts her bag down and dives right in and just works right through it, tutors, coaches, helps, and it's just impressive, man. I mean, there's 2 levels there. There's her intelligence, but then, and she's a mom. She loves her kids, so she's going to do it. But, her ability to just dive right in. Some people would want to come home and just unwind a little bit, but she doesn't stop.
And if it's like homework time for our house, your house, it also takes a certain level of patience.
Yeah, good point.
It's not even just I don't know how to do this or whatever. It's also just everybody's exhausted, and some of us probably need to eat, and we've all had our days, and now it's time to buckle down and do homework. So that takes its own kind of level. I hear you.
Yeah, she keeps track of so much. Her brain is just so amazing. So I just have to honor her, and I wish I had it. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I had that level of intelligence.
You can strive for it.
I'll never get there, but yeah. What do you got?
That's a good one. I am with you. I also really like this particular segment, and I'm glad we decided to keep it in. I know that this show has evolved quite a bit from our first recording, and I think you and I can both agree that we're on track to keep this one in for its validity, and I really appreciate it. In terms of Kristen, I struggled to narrow it down, so I started to make a list because we haven't been recording for a while, and I'm going to go with the most recent one off my list, which was, we've talked about all the planning and everything that both of our wives do and all the incredible logistics that they juggle and everything else. This last weekend was no exception. My daughter turned 7, and Kristen Kristen went big. Kristen went, let's host a troop, a dozen 6 and 7-year-old girls at our house.
Oh, yeah.
Not for 1 hour, not for 2 hours, but for 3 hours. And look, these are all precious little angels, and they're great kids, but it's still 12 of them.
How loud do you think it was?
You know, it's funny. At one point, my daughter handed my dad, who came to help, both my parents came to help, handed him some earplugs, and she wasn't kidding. So it got pretty loud, it got pretty rowdy, but she had the whole thing planned. She had multiple different crafts to do. There were stations for kids to do. The kids were always doing something. There was never any craziness. And to make matters worse, we were at the time in the middle of a midge hatch. I don't know if you remember midges from your Ohio days, but basically they're an extremely annoying flying bug.
Yep.
That swarms everywhere, and there's millions of them, and it basically keeps you from going outside. So not only were there 12 of us, or 12 little ones, but there were celebrating a birthday with sugar and everything else. There were midges that kept us all inside. So
amazing.
But Kristen handled all of it with total grace, had everything planned. Jill had an amazing time. Everyone had a great time.
That's amazing. Let me ask you a question. What role did you play in the event?
You know, not unlike our dynamic as a couple, I'm there I can hang, I will help, I will not interfere. But if you need me, I'm one step to her right, and within grabbing distance of see that mess, go clean that up. See this, let's do this. Hey, can you grab that chair over there? That kind of thing. So I was in the mix, but I was definitely not the level of planning and spearheading that she was. So
that sounds amazing. Kudos to her for pulling that off. That is no small feat. Yeah. I can't even imagine doing something like that. I mean, truthfully, it's funny you mentioned that, because Quinn had a birthday party this past weekend as well.
Hey,
timing. And Christy did all of the planning. And my role literally was food service and cleanup. Yep,
totally.
And I think I did it well, but if she asked me to run one of those activities, I would have failed miserably.
I hear you. So happy birthdays out there too, while we're celebrating awesome wives.
Cool, man. All right. Well, thanks for sharing that. We still have our sponsor hanging on there.
We do.
Ryan has told me that if we want coffee, we have to fly to Madagascar to get it.
That's how he's going to incorporate us into the business.
Exactly. So let's play his clip if we could.
Just off the southern coast of Africa is a tropical hotspot with some of the world's greatest biodiversity, Madagascar. Within this magnificently lush landscape, a coffee company was born. Meet Madagascar Coffee Company. With a vision to redefine your coffee experience, these guys are all about next-level quality in your cup, better prices for farmers, and a sustainable supply chain that actually makes sense. If you love coffee, or just need a better cup to get you through the day, check them out at MadagascarCoffeeCompany.com. They've committed to announcing their upcoming sales launch right here on the Tim and Trav podcast. Madagascar Coffee Company. Coffee that does good and tastes even better. All right. Thank you to Madagascar Coffee Company and Ryan. We know you're working hard, and we appreciate that.
He's got a new harvest on the way. The stuff is good, so we can definitely vouch for it. And, look forward to drinking some of that soon, Ryan. Okay. Let's jump into our guest.
Yeah. You want to give a little intro?
I do, real quick. And Trav, before doing this, I just want to share, as we have discussed, I don't think we shared this at the onset of our launch today, but we are trying to cut down our time and focus more on guest time. So really excited about this. And we have an amazing way to start our season here. So Cheryl Brass is coming in to join us. She's a member of my community here who's doing just incredible work and has built something really, really phenomenal that I knew nothing about, truthfully. And has since grown this into a pretty significant entity in a very short amount of time. And I really do think that, I mean, how can you not? Her personality and spirit is just so contagious. She's such, she is such a vivacious and fun and like outgoing spirit to her. So I think it's fun to listen to, but she's just so inspiring as well. And I'm really excited for people to listen to her and learn a little bit more about what she's doing and learn a bit more about symphony orchestras and what it means to grow up playing an instrument and how that maybe transforms over time. So would you say that's a fair intro for Miss Cheryl?
I think so. Yeah, let's play it.
All right, cool. Let's go.
For this season. So, all right, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, Trav, Cheryl, welcome. All good. We are excited to have Cheryl Brass with us today. Cheryl, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you. Trav, how are you?
Oh, I couldn't be better.
Awesome. Cheryl, when you're out in the community, how do you identify yourself? What do you say? Hi, I'm Cheryl. I am blank.
Yes, I often do approach strangers and say, hi, I'm Cheryl. Come join the orchestra. Come see a concert. But I am a proud arts professional and the creator and arts administrator of the East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra, professional symphony orchestra. And we put on high quality concerts and really predicated on building community through the inspirational power of music. And in addition to that, we have the pleasure of also creating the East Brunswick Community Symphonia, which is the only community orchestra in Middlesex County, and I play violin in it as I proudly display my pin. And actually, when I'm in the community and I wear this jacket, the pin gives it away. So it's a great conversation starter, and that's how I walk through life.
That's awesome.
Can we get some basics down, just because I'm not familiar and I don't know if the folks listening are as familiar, but how many people are in the orchestra? You said it's in East Brunswick, right? How many people? You said you play violin. Can you kind of like give us the general layout of it?
Sure. So I'll take a step back and introduce myself a little bit more. I started playing violin when I was 5 years old through a really incredible teaching method and learning method called the Suzuki method. Are you familiar with the Suzuki method?
Yeah.
Right. So the parent teacher student connection is an extremely strong bond, and it causes great community engagement, and it's auditory learning and a communal shared experience. And growing up in that atmosphere, I was able to play on Carnegie Hall and decide that I wanted to become a music educator. So through teaching, I had played in orchestras, and nothing really replaces that sense of community and belonging. And it's something that throughout my life I've tried to seek out. Unfortunately, for adults, once you graduate music school or whatever profession you're in, and you could play in your college group, there are few community orchestras around. Actually, in New Jersey alone, every single county now has a community group. At least there are community bands. And it's not that to say that there's nothing out there. It's to say that there's a need for more. Sure. And what my journey is after teaching in public and private schools in New York, and my master's degree was in Northwestern in Chicago, so I taught out there. And then coming back to New Jersey, I was teaching private students so that I could be a mom to my 2 boys and be there through those nursery and early elementary years. And then teaching at home, COVID hits, and I'm now teaching to a screen. And so as my journey continues, I see the disconnect between getting out into the community and having those relationships and partners. So I went on a journey to seek out a local performance group that I could participate in. And upon preliminary research, really a quick Google search, there was nothing in our county. So I like to run outdoors. It clears my mind. It gets my vibes going and energy. And hopefully the self-talk is positive and good. And I get great ideas, and went for a run and realized if there's no orchestra, I'll build one. So I called up the last orchestra conductor that I played for. His name is Nate White. He's also our artistic director. And he had started a group called the Freelance Ensemble Artists, which was a group of mostly music educators over the summer that needed to fill their cup. Because, teaching is a different skill, but playing and being part of the orchestra is a different animal altogether. So he built that up, and he did that for over a decade. And that's how we met. When I first moved to New Jersey, the first friends I had were in that group and through him. But because I lived in East Brunswick, that was in Summit, and my kids were so young, I couldn't continue. So when I decided to start an orchestra, I called the expert and I said, "Hey, Nate, I haven't talked to you in a while, but tell me, if I was going to start an orchestra, how would I do it?" And he gave me, and we had a lot of conversation. He gave me great tips and how he did it. And we had several conversations. And then I reached out to community members in East Brunswick, friends. Tim knows pretty much everybody on that list in my head, but I really appreciate the walks that I had with them and the conversations that led me to partner with the East Brunswick Recreation and Parks Department. And through them, they agreed to start a music program. And so that's how the Community Symphony got its idea and its grounding. But then to their, regret or to their excitement, they said, well, let's put on a concert. This is January 2024. Let's put on a concert to let the public know that we're going to have a music program. And so I looked to Nate and I said, well, the only way that could happen is through a professional orchestra. So Nate called 65 to 70 of his friends who volunteered to put on a professional orchestra concert. And then the East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra was born. We incorporated. We're a brand new nonprofit startup in 18 months old, 2 orchestras. So we have the partnership with the Recreation Department and a separate 501c3 to run the orchestra, with our mission being to bring the community together through the power of music.
Wow. That is no small endeavor.
It is not. It is not. Thank you for the recognition of why I don't sleep at night. And there is. And thank you for allowing me to tell the condensed story. And you can imagine how long it takes when I tell the whole story.
Cheryl, you better not go for any more runs, because if you keep getting ideas and acting on them, it's you're going to be even more, your plate will be more full than it already is. So your title as it relates to this orchestra, you are, do you call yourself the founder and executive director? What's your title?
So legally, the title is creator and program coordinator. And I think that's going to change soon to founder and executive director, since now that role is fleshed out, that's my day to day.
And you now have established a board. I mean, you're a registered 501c3, you mentioned. You've established a board. You did all of this in 18 months or less?
Correct.
All while also putting on a professional concert to start it. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yes, which you should look up. It's so cool. We played some John Williams Star Wars music. We played some very famous overtures and pieces that people recognize. We played the Tchaikovsky's Romeo and Juliet, some Broadway medleys, and some Americana patriotic music. We play at the East Brunswick July 4th fireworks show, before the fireworks and with the fireworks, just what Tanglewood Music Center does in Boston with the Boston Pops, and what Washington, D.C. does with their Capitol Phil. East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra does that for our residents, and it's a free concert because we get grant funding from Middlesex County. So it's really incredible, and the potentials are endless. Yes, Tim, my mind is always working, and there's just so much joy that can be brought by music and community building that this journey will never end. And I'm so excited to look to the future and see how this relates in the public health sector. There's so much crossover that I'm pursuing. Also, just in terms of working with the incredible nonprofits we have here in East Brunswick. I know, Trav, you live out of the state, but if you were to visit, you would hear about our Arts Coalition, our Arts Commission, about Middlesex County Culture, about all of these different facets that offer high quality programming extremely affordably. You're talking about a family of 4 coming to a concert for under $100.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty tough to do. Yeah, that's tough to do.
Cheryl, can you help me? Oh, sorry, Trav.
No, go ahead, Tim.
No, I'm trying to get in the context because some of this is new to me, and it's so interesting to hear this. I love the idea of what you're talking about, these adults who are trained, who are maybe teaching during the school year or whatnot, and they're looking to, exercise that other passion of theirs, right, as it relates to being a part of something like this. We here in East Brunswick and in Middlesex County at large, like, if you had to, I'm using the word competition, which isn't the right word, but like who is close to us that is doing something similar, that, may also be competing for, venues and space and talent?
Great question. The way I view arts in general is that there just can't be enough. And therefore, there is no competition, especially true when it comes to equitably paying professional musicians. In an orchestra, if you think of yours playing the flute, there are maybe 3 flute seats for an entire orchestra. Well, I know off the back of my hand way more flautists that need an opportunity, a seat to play in the orchestra. And so, and the reason Nate created his summer orchestra is because he wanted to practice conducting. Can you imagine how hard it is to find an opportunity to do that? He had to build an orchestra in order to do that. So the opportunity is certainly in dramatic need. So I welcome what's around. Luckily, in New Jersey and in this country, there are plenty of professional orchestras and community orchestras. And we find in our situation, people either maybe they're musicians that are composers and arrangers we have playing with us. We also have a ton of music educators. Some are teaching in different disciplines. One of our bassoonists is a computer science teacher, and he plays with us. We have baristas, engineers, marketing professionals, doctors who play an instrument as their hobby, as their source of joy. And because playing in an orchestra is not a replicable experience on your own, you need to participate. The sheer creation of it, people are extremely grateful to have this opportunity. And just my hope, even by doing podcasts and things like this, is to reach more people, to invite them in. You could be an audience member. You could be a volunteer. You can learn an instrument through our adult music classes, through the recreation department, at extremely low cost and with other adults. Kids are super lucky. There's a youth orchestra. We joke, you throw a rock, you get a youth orchestra. There's so much for kids, and there should be. The youth is our future. But after 18, it's a desert sometimes to find these high quality, affordable, and really enriching opportunities. And that's our mission here, is to create them, to sustain them, and to bring joy in many ways to people.
That's really cool. So you started at 5 in the violin. I know that, a musician's mind is constantly working, it seems. So are there other instruments that you also play? Do you have an interest in conducting yourself? Like, how does that all work for you personally as a musician in the overall realm of your orchestra that you started?
Yeah, I grew up playing violin, and I switched in high school. I played viola. There was a need to learn, and it's the same position when you hold it, but it's a different clef when you read it. So it's an easy next step. It's sort of fluid. A lot of violinists will play viola and vice versa. But again, it's a different instrument, so it takes its skill. I have zero interest in conducting. It was not my strong suit. And I've taught orchestra before in public schools, and this career change is a positive step in the right direction for me. I am certified as a public school teacher, but the reason that I didn't want to continue in public schools is I always saw myself more of an arts administrator. And in music school, they just don't teach you that part, that music is a business. And so me and my friend ChatGPT, we learned business, and I have help. And I always ask, my husband's a strategic planner for fun. He did our logo. He did, there's so many people in my life. My parents have worked in the nonprofit sector my whole life. I grew up with that mindset of giving back to your community is a priority and something that is in our everyday lives. So molding this nonprofit sector work with arts administration has been a natural progression for me. So in terms of my hopes and dreams, I hope to stay in this. I hope to be able to spread this message and to encourage other townships, other counties, and other states to do this, because the connections that are made through a recreation department, every town has a recreation department. So granted, not everybody has a Nate White. He's the catalyst. He's the artistic genius here. And the reason that I want to play for him is how much I learn and get after a 3-hour rehearsal. You would think that, oh man, because I know there have been 3 hours, that you spend and you're like, I wish I had those 3 hours back. And for me, like my husband will say to me, it seems like you need an orchestra rehearsal. It is truly a mental health uplifter. So my aspirations are really to continue in arts administration, putting on my educator hat, putting on my volunteer hat, and then hopefully making this into a profitable career, both for my family and also for other organizations to find that this work is a valuable commodity.
Cheryl, you're still, in some ways, this is still in its infancy stages, right? This is the beginning of something that is just going to grow and thrive, and it's so exciting. What, in this 18 months, I think you said, in total, that you've sort of, since it was founded, what has been some of the most, what have you learned, or what would you share with someone who is thinking about starting something, whether or not it's in the same field or not, but for people you're an entrepreneur here at the same time. So what advice would you give to someone who's thinking about taking a similar plunge?
Yeah, that's a great question. Follow your hopes and dreams. I know it sounds very lofty, but it's true. And you really have to want to do this work. It is not easy, but it can be fun and inspiring. Ask for help. Seek out those neighbors. This idea also started at a bus stop with my neighbor. We were just standing out there during, when our kids were in elementary school waiting for the bus, and he said he wanted to start a cricket club, and I said I wanted to start an orchestra, and now he's a board member. So it's the connections that you make along the way, that asking for people for help, getting your research through your family and your friends and your network, and then not being afraid to follow that to the next logical step. And there are many pathways to success, as both of you know. I'm sure you didn't wake up one day and was like, I'm going to do a podcast. Or maybe you did and you went for it and now you're refining it. I think these things are great ideas and there are many ways to make it a success, but I would encourage anybody who wants to do this work, just ask a lot of questions, learn a lot. A degree is just a piece of paper unless you use the skills of learning to get you to where you want to go and where you think you can help people. And the other thing is, when you have a good idea and you're inclusive and you're wanting to help other people and you really put your mission not in a selfish way, but in a selfless way, things work a lot more organically. And so there was no fight here. This was just, the struggle is I work 6 days a week, 18 hours a day, and I do have a family that's very patient with me as I don't participate in a lot of things because my time and energy are in a nonprofit startup, which again was my comment that I don't wish that on people unless they're ready. But it's great work. So follow your hopes and dreams. Yeah. And just ask a lot of questions. That's great. And thank you for letting me reflect, because 18 months is no time at all. And I work at lightning speed and I talk at lightning speed, and that's not everybody's jam. So I have to remember sometimes to take a step back and recognize that, it's not about the accomplishment, it's about the impact. And I can smile about that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. Well, your energy is contagious, so I feel like maybe you're spawning other listeners to be like, you know what? We don't actually have one of those. I should call my rec department.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I found in listening to this is not only it's the impact that you wanted to make and the things that you wanted to do in terms of forming the group, but the positivity is like radiating off of you. I don't know if you've been told that before, but there's something about like your positivity and your mission is like almost manifesting itself into the actual fruition of what you did. Obviously, this is no small feat. Like Tim mentioned, like and this is very much, I wouldn't call it new, but it's certainly, young. So I'm rambling here, but I love the idea that you don't see the other things as competition, but there obviously are obstacles, right? Like nothing worth doing is going to just happen on a flat, even road. So can you talk to me a little bit about how you had a few obstacles? Obviously you can name names like Tim, anything like that. Were there obstacles in that? Like if let's say I don't necessarily have the music mind, but if I were going to start a nonprofit, a startup, what would you say to me in terms of like, well, this is an obstacle I did not see coming. You might not experience the same thing, but this is an obstacle I didn't see coming. I'm sure there are some. Can you share just a little bit?
Sure. Off the top of my head, the term philanthropic donations come to mind. I started a startup without capital funds. Now, I don't recommend that for people because it's not very sustaining in terms of eating and shelter. But I think that, that the funding will come because, first of all, once you incorporate as a 501c3, you can even use software that's available to you to do marketing and things. There are ways in which you have to be creative and volunteer and working. That's a slippery slope too. You can't overwork your volunteers. And for me, I will publicly say this, I kind of underwork mine because I'm just so grateful for any time that I don't ask enough. And then I end up doing 7 full-time jobs, which is what I am right now, the social media marketer, the development coordinator, the board coordinator as executive director and the producer. I produce every concert, and the fundraiser. Yes. Yeah. So, so that's the nice thing, right? So board members have assigned roles and I work with a fantastic team. And so I do have a bookkeeper and I do have help and we definitely have a great volunteer base, but I can improve in that way. So it's finding balance, but also, if you can bring in a partner so the recreation department was that partner for seed money. It's not like we didn't have anything because that program's supposed to net zero, right? They're not making money on it. The members of the Symphonia pay a very small membership fee and in it is, free rehearsal space for us. And whatever gets and ticket sales help pay for whatever's left over. We invest back in the program. So we just got a music stand and a music stand rack, which is like a cart, which to any orchestra will tell you that it is absolutely essential. I've been single-handedly setting up each music stand before rehearsal once a week. Now I have a cart. Whoop, whoop. So, good things can happen. So yeah, having a financial partner, but also a community. It's funny. There are residents of East Brunswick that came up to me after that concert in 2024, and this was our first concert. And they said, I've lived in East Brunswick for 50 years, and I've never heard of the East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra. And I smiled. I was like, well, you didn't miss anything. We're new. So it's because we feel immediately like we're embedded and ingrained in this community. People thought that maybe they just didn't know. And so I took that as a compliment. So the challenges are certainly there. We aren't the only symphony orchestra around, and we have 2 orchestras, and we're working on still developing our message. People aren't sure, should I join the community symphonia or am I of the caliber to be in the professional group, of which there's some room there, but it's a really it depends on musician availability, and we're still forming those executive decisions for groups and personnel, which Nate takes care of. But on the day-to-day, there are many challenges. Where do I take the 16-hour day and prioritize so that I can get all these things done? So it could be. I hope this isn't a cautionary tale, but yes, I can immediately say having the philanthropic partner certainly would make things a little easier.
Sure.
Cheryl, I have a question for you. If you came to a fork in the road and you had to pick one of 2 different paths, one was to continue to build this amazing, nonprofit that you started here along with your team, and the other is to play in the symphony, which road would you take?
I would keep building. I don't hesitate on that. It's a joy and a pleasure for me to play, but there's a higher calling here. And it is so important that we heal our community, and the arts are the vessel in which the healing will happen. And I know that sounds almost religious, but that it's a belief. It's an inherent understanding that our mind, body, and spirit can be positively affected through music. And if I have the tools and the resources and the will, I'm going to do it. So luckily I don't have to make that choice, but it is possible I will be spreading this through other communities and won't be able to attend regular rehearsals to the Symphonia. So how do I prioritize my mental health and my priorities to participate? So
Sure.
I hope, I can't say that won't ever happen, but at the same time, I hope I don't have to choose. That's a great question. That's a really great question.
Cheryl, this has been so amazing. I've learned so much I didn't even know about, all the steps. I love some of the early stage. I love what you talked about, how these things sort of came to you, and then when surrounded by the right people, and to Trav's point, your positivity, it always radiates, and that draws people in. I don't know. It's just such an interesting thing to hear more about this, and to bear witness to what you and the people around you have created. It is so incredible and inspiring.
Thank you. And thanks to you both for taking the time to listen. And I encourage people to attend a concert. Your listeners that are local, they could come to an East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra concert, or in the East Brunswick Community Symphony concert, take a class. But for the people that are far away, they can see us on YouTube. And actually,
Nice.
our concert, the concert that I referred to, the January concert, our partner EBTV syndicated the concert, and it was shown in California, in Maine, in Maryland,
that's
all
so
over the
great.
country. So, that's the great thing about the internet, right? It's now
for
accessible,
sure.
so everybody can participate in the joy. So we'll continue to post our concerts and follow us on socials so people can stay connected and share their journey and connect.
So I have to ask, can you plug the socials? Can you give us the sites? Can you do all the stuff?
I would love to. So our website is ebsomusic.org, East Brunswick Symphony Orchestra music.org. And our socials, we're on Facebook. You could just look us up on our page. We have Instagram, EB_symphony_orchestra. We're on LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn page as well as our YouTube channel. So, and you should be able to access us through Google. And the best way to stay in touch is to get on our mailing list. So on the website, you can be prompt and go for that. And we would certainly love to have you follow us and enjoy the musical offerings that we bring. And on Sunday, I get to play in our season 2 concert opener. It's going to be a really exciting program. It's fun to listen to, but I got to tell you, Trav, it's really fun to play. It's just very, some of the fingers are fast, but even the more slower parts, because of the dynamic contrast, it's really interesting. So bring a friend and sit back and relax and enjoy the concert.
That's so cool. That's great. I feel like hopefully others feel this way too listening, but I feel like the positivity came all the way from Jersey to Cleveland. So thank you very much for that. I'll take that as my own personal gift for it. But thank you so much for joining us. We are going to include all those links and everything in the description. So folks, if you're listening, that'll be down and below wherever you find us. Look in the show notes. And Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have a nice full audience for your next concert, and we will look forward to seeing you all over the place on socials and in person in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to talk to you. And it's just an absolute pleasure. Great job with the podcast and future endeavors. I hope I see you again soon.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.
Yes. Take care.
All right, Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us again. A lot of fun. I think I mentioned to Tim after we recorded this the other day that I felt like this energy, like I didn't need a third cup of coffee. I was like, no, I just talked to Cheryl for 15 minutes. I'm good. I can run a race. I can do whatever, because she's so energetic and so positive. So thank you for bringing that energy to not only what you do, but also to us on the podcast.
Definitely, Cheryl. And I was sorry to miss out on some of the end of that. I was having some technology issues on my end, so sorry that I got booted. I think maybe that was you secretly kicking me out, Trav.
Can we blame Amazon, AWS? Let's do it.
Sure, why not? Yeah, there was an outage recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Cheryl, it was great to have you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up our very first episode, if you can believe it. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it. Thank you, Cheryl, for joining us.
Yeah, Trav, thank you too. So listen, we are trying to expand our reach. Would really love to continue to meet new guests. What do you do that is maybe part of your everyday, but you do it a little bit differently? That's sort of a goal of ours this season. So if you'd like to get on the show, come spend, 30 minutes, 45 minutes max really with us. And let's talk. Let's get to know you, and let's share your goodness and the goodwill that you bring to the world. And, it's a great opportunity for you and us. So would love to meet you. Trav, do we have an email address by chance?
We do. It's timandtravpodcast@gmail.com. That's timandtravpodcast@gmail.com, and you can see all this information down in the show notes as well. Tim didn't know the email account, which is why he tossed that to me, just so we point that out.
Well, this goes back to the point I made earlier in the show. Intelligence. Some have it and some don't.
That's all right. I'll never pretend to have it. Tim, thank you very much. I appreciate it, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Trav. Take care, man.
Tim and Travis on the mic, talking life and what's alike. Middle age, it's quite the ride. Finding joy and chasing pride. Career dreams and daily grind. Funny moments that we find. Letting go of yesterday, making paths along the way. Middle age. Middle-age mayhem, breaking free, finding out who we can be, laughing, learning all the time. Tim and Travis in their prime. Every step a brand new plan, older, wiser, still we stand, navigating through the years, sharing stories, laughs and cheers. Finding out who we can be, laughing, learning all the time. Tim and Travis in their prime. Every step a brand new plan, older, wiser, still we stand, navigating through the years, sharing stories, laughs and cheers. Middle age, enjoying the fun, middle age has just begun. Tim and Travis lead the way, every episode will slay.
Cool.
And we're back, and you're still full of it.
Don't laugh at that. We're taking some new scientific steps this year.
Everything gets edited, mostly because I wouldn't be able to do anything with Tim without editing something. So,
what? Did you guys freeze, or did I freeze? It's over?